Recognition.
Mr. Speaker, by the direction of the Committee on Rules, I call up House Resolution 529 and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar Number 27, House Resolution 529. Resolved that the House Resolution 503 is hereby referred to the Committee on Homeland Security and in addition to the Committee on the Judiciary.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized for 1 hour.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to the gentleman from Massachusetts, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purpose of debate only. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, last night the Rules Committee reported a rule to refer H.Res. 503 to the Committee on Homeland Security and Judiciary. H.Res. 503 lays out articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden for his failure to secure the southern border of the United States. Now, we do a lot of things in this body, and we say a lot of things, I certainly do, about our beliefs and about what we think is happening to our country. What we're talking about here is indeed solemn. I mean, we are in fact talking about the mechanism provided by the founders in the Constitution of the United States to check and hold the executive branch responsible. The border crisis that we are experiencing today is extremely significant for the people in my home state of Texas. Not just Texas, of course, the entire country, but in particular for the people in my home state of Texas. Since President Biden took office, there have been well over 5 million illegal migrant encounters along the southwest border. More than 204,000 illegal immigrants were encountered at the border in May alone. Now, those numbers are changing post relaxing enforcement of Title 42. 2 million aliens have been released into the interior of the United States. 1.5 million, probably 1.7 million, maybe 2 million now gotaways have been successfully evaded border agents by relatively conservative accounting. Most concerning right now, data that we have shows that 125 individuals from the terrorist watch list have been encountered this fiscal year alone, and that compares to about 98 in all of last fiscal year and about 10 in the last year of the Trump administration. The fact is the people I represent are sick and tired of a federal government that is abdicating its fundamental duty to defend the border of the United States. That is what is happening. The federal government exists primarily, borderline entirely, but certainly primarily, to defend the United States. That's why it exists. And it is failing to do so, not through maladministration, not through incompetence, but through dereliction of duty and a refusal to actually follow the laws of the United States. The laws of the United States are there expressly and specifically laid out to ensure that our border will be protected, that our nation will be secure. That is the fundamental question before us, is when the executive branch fails to follow the law, when the executive branch fails to adhere to its duty to defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States, then what is it that the Congress, that the People's House, is supposed to do in response? The founders gave us a mechanism. And here today we are talking about putting forward and referring these articles to the Homeland Security Committee for determination of the extent to which the homeland is in fact not secure as a direct consequence of the refusal of the administration, well beyond maladministration, but very specifically the refusal to follow the laws of the United States that is resulting in the direct consequence of the death and damage to the American people. That is the truth. That is what we're experiencing. That's what we are experiencing in real time in Texas. My colleagues in Arizona, my colleagues throughout this entire country are experiencing that in real time. Just a few weeks ago, a federal judge in Texas, the Northern District of Texas, Judge Reed O'Connor, issued an opinion, an order. And in it, he lays out, quote, defendants, illegal aliens, pleaded guilty by conspiracy to transport and harbor illegal aliens. The sentencing information shows that on behalf of the Juarez cartel, defendants participated in an alien smuggling conspiracy. The smuggling organization charged $10,000 to smuggle an adult illegal alien to the United States and between $12,000 to $14,000 to smuggle a child illegal alien. It goes on to lay out how they discovered that there was an illegal alien in Baltimore who was being held for ransom so that his family wouldn't be abused by the Juarez cartel in a stash house in Fort Worth. The member told the husband, quote, they would do things to his daughter he would not like, end quote, if he did not make this payment of $23,000, which he had not bargained for. This is the state of affairs in our country. And this is the consequence to those migrants who are seeking to come here, where my colleagues in the false name of compassion state that open borders is somehow good for them. But this is causing crime to extend into our communities. This is causing us to experience the dangerous hand of cartels. Just this morning, we had more news about cartels and their reach into Texas, into the United States. It is an everyday occurrence. Bailouts, damage to ranches, harm to Texans, death to Texans, fentanyl. How many more fentanyl moms? How many more angel moms? How many more Americans need suffer because this president refuses to follow the laws of the United States that he raised his hand and swore an oath to defend? And that is why we're here, and that is why I support the resolution, and I reserve.